Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and tonight I'm joined by Derek.
Hey everybody.
We are back discussing Wicked Wicked Games. The show is getting very crazy. We're discussing episodes 32 to 36, so I'll roll the credits and we'll get right into it. Okay, so where we ended last time, Brooke just fell out. She's just dead. Not dead, but she passed out. And we pick up and she's just okay. There's no that
I
was a
didn't
dramatic
remember that
cliffhanger from
scene,
nothing.
and I was so disappointed. I was like, "What?"
We'll never know if she was roofied or if she was just too drunk. She seemed fine to me.
And we never got an answer. Did she? We have no idea. I guess she just drank too much and just passed out.
She didn't seem that drunk though. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll never know, I guess.
I find myself enjoying her when she's more calm and is actually having a real conversation versus I'm so hot I can drink and get whatever guy I want. Look at my boobs. I don't like that part.
Yeah.
Because I have moments where I'm like, oh, I think I like Brooke, and then she'll have a childish reaction to something, and I'm like, nope, still don't like it.
Exactly.
So Aaron, I guess we could start calling him Aaron because nobody knows him as Daniel anymore.
Right.
He brought her back to his place. He was a gentleman. He slept on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Shirtless, I will note. She thanks him for taking care of her. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, I like their chemistry. I didn't really like it so much, like I said, when she was acting like a ditz and
right.
hypersexualized, but now I didn't dig it. I'm like, okay.
I like their scenes together. I like Aaron and Brooke's scenes together.
Yeah. He offers for breakfast, and she said she already called a cab, so she leaves. It's funny because Theo is now not doing anything. All he's doing is drinking and gambling. And Brooke is now looking down upon him because she's working at the Tide. And she's like, I have to work. Some of us work. All of a sudden, the roles are flipped.
That was so funny.
But every once in a while, somebody will throw in, you should go to college and get your bachelor's. And she's like, don't tell me what to do.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if you know that is one of the stipulations of you getting your inheritance, go to college.
Right, exactly.
You're just not going because everybody's telling you. That's stupid.
Right. If you know there's money involved, and enroll. I wish I got money for going to college. Jeez.
I laughed because at one point Theo said to her, "You're older than most college seniors right now."
Right. Mm-hmm.
Wasn't the stipulation 25
married
and college education?
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's 23. So she's still got a couple of years, finish college, then maybe think about marriage.
Right.
To somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So Blythe wants to take the company public.
Yes.
Which is something that Theo was always very against. So obviously that's why she wants to do it.
Right.
Aaron seems really into trying to make the Tides a success. He's really committed to it. And he doesn't like what his mother's doing because he thought that this was supposed to be his and Josh's inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, me selling it or the money from it will be your inheritance.
Yeah, that's right.
So there was a few times where she did her camera scenes, where before the scene happened, I had a thought and I felt like she was talking to me.
Oh yeah, well, what did she say in that moment?
Well, we're not up to that part yet because it's a very bad part. But that would be the first time. She basically says I crossed the line, and I literally thought before that, I was like, well, now she crossed the line. She's like, you probably think I crossed the line. I'm like, yes, you did.
Yes, you did. She definitely did. We'll get to that, yeah.
So Theo is just not opening up to Hope at all. He's
No.
pushing her away. All he's doing is drinking and going to the club, gambling, coming home late, next day hungover.
Hmm. He's becoming
rinsing
Brooke,
repeat.
essentially. Like you said.
Um, oh, before I get on Theo, there was a fun scene. There was a little mud wrestling
Oh,
fight
that was
between
great. Yeah.
Emma.
It's so Dynasty.
Yes. Between Emma and Brooke. But it started out childish. But I like that Emma was just like, I'm sick of your shit. She's like, I'm done
Right.
being your punching bag.
Right. And I love the fact that Daniel and Vladimir were just watching them and didn't even stop it at the end.
Aaron said to Vladimir, or Voldemort. I can never say his name right. He's like, you ever seen a mud wrestling match? And he's like, no.
Yes,
And he's like, here you go.
that was so funny.
But such TV magic. The next scene, Brooke, he brings Brooke into his office to like get cleaned up, and she's already like, she has like one dash of mud on her cheek, and like the rest of her looks clean,
Right.
and her hair is messy,
Yeah.
and she's just like taking a paper towel and going like this. I'm like, you were drenched in mud. You need
Right.
a shower.
Yeah.
And I like that he was like, oh, I need to leave. She was like, can I have some privacy? And he's like, basically like, I can't trust you like with company files. You don't officially work here or whatever. But then he stays, and she just like has her back turned and is undressing. And I guess it's all because they slept together. It's like, oh, it's not anything I haven't seen before, but like
Right.
but yeah, I like their like now I like their sexual chemistry because I feel like they really like each other.
Hmm.
But yeah, back to Theo. I was coming around to him with the whole engagement and then him being against Blythe, but he's cheating on Hope again with this other woman that I don't even know what you would call her.
Granted, Hope left at that point, I believe. So he left.
It was an overlap. I felt like there was like an overlap where like we first
Right.
see this woman, she's sitting at the bar,
Well, like they
and then
met
she kind of
before Hope
spends the
left,
night
and
with
then
him.
Hope, and then he slept with her after Hope left. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But I mean,
Um,
that doesn't excuse it. He's still engaged to her. But like, yeah.
doesn't even seem concerned that she's not
No,
there. Maybe
no.
initial concern when she
I
left
think
the
he
letter,
did
and then that
initially
was
when
it.
they got the letter. Yeah.
Um, but we're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
So they have a fight, and he basically says, "Get out of my life."
Hmm.
I'm like, you're engaged. What are you talking about?
Right. And I don't know the man he's turning into, or I guess it's the man he always was. It's just like it's very hard to root for him.
Yeah. Um, so she, I guess, has had enough, and between Brooke and him, she just can't deal with it. So she packs her bags and she leaves
Hmm.
temporarily. She goes to
Right.
Maggie's,
Yeah.
Madeline, right?
Mhm.
And she vents to her, and she's basically, "Am I doing the right thing?"
Mhm.
And I'm like, you don't have to leave him, but just scare him a little. Stay away for a little bit. Make him miss you. Like,
Right. Mhm.
um, so then the scene looks like she went shopping, but from the dialogue, it said that she just left Madeline's. She had a bunch of bags. It looked like she was shopping.
Well, there was a scene before that where Madeline told her there's a grocery store down the street and she wanted to pick up a couple things before she
Oh,
went
okay.
down. And Blythe was in the car and overheard them talking, and that's why
Okay.
he followed her there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're in like a parking garage, I assume.
Hmm.
And Blythe is stalking her, and she scares the shit out of her. They
Hmm.
trade barbs. She probably makes some joke about her being a maid because that's all she does.
Again, yeah.
And they get into they don't slap each other. Blythe always punches. She swings with punches. She never just like bitch slaps.
No, she's a puncher.
Yes. And she's like beating the shit out of Hope, gets her on the hood of a car, and like bashes her head into a windshield.
Hmm.
And we're made to believe that Hope could be dead.
Right. She chokes her to death.
Yeah. She chokes her first, right?
I think she put her on the hood of the car and then she choked her.
Yeah. So then she looked like she
Yeah.
was dead, and then she like finished her off.
Right. Like the next episode started and she woke up and then Blake finished her off.
Oh, it was the beginning of the next episode?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that happened, and I'm like, I was a little bit spoiled. Not necessarily on that, but I think I read something in the comments somewhere that Hope
Mhm.
died. So I was expecting it at some point, but I didn't think it was that this was it. We're only halfway through it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like um
So I have a question for you.
uh-huh.
Do you think that she planned this, Blythe planned to kill her, or it was in the moment? I go back and forth.
I think it was in the moment. I think she was kind of rage filled
Yeah.
and she just couldn't help herself.
But she was also stalking her a little bit. She was following her in the beginning of the episode, and then she was at Maddie's when they were talking outside. So I was like, was this premeditated or was it not? I kind of go back and forth about it. But then it seems like maybe she wanted like a final confrontation with her before she left town. And then she ended up killing her because of all, just her rageful feelings and the things Hope was saying, like, yeah, you'll never have Theo or whatever she said.
Maybe I could see her maybe premeditating this
Mhm.
after the whole engagement scene.
Right.
I don't think initially that any of this was planned, but
Mhm.
maybe after just from like the humiliation, she
Right.
started like fantasizing of what it would be like to kill her, maybe.
And she did say in a later scene that anything that gets in the way of her plan has to be eliminated. So she,
Yeah.
I guess she felt that Hope was a threat to
That
her.
was when she was like, "Now you may think that I crossed the line." I was like, "Yeah,
Right.
you
Yeah.
did."
Yeah.
And I felt like she was talking to me because I was like, "You
Yeah.
did."
You definitely crossed the line. Yeah.
And I think that's when she followed it up with anything that gets in her way has to be eliminated.
Right.
That's why I'm really scared for Lonnie. I'm really scared for Lonnie. um so yeah, so I mean, I know because I said like I said, I read that Hope dies. I'm
Mhm.
kind of hoping that maybe this isn't it. Maybe she'll like pop up somewhere. Like maybe Blythe will open the
Mhm.
trunk and the body won't be there. Like she like broke out somehow.
Yeah, I'm guessing she already took care of the body. I don't know because like that
We
seems
didn't
like
get a
that
scene of
would
like
go.
seeing her like trying to like dispose of it.
Right. We never saw her try to dispose of it, correct. But we did see that, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but we did see that scene where Theo approaches her and she has the body in her trunk and he comes up to her and talks to her at her
Yeah.
house.
And I laughed because so when she saw him, she panicked for a minute. She was like, shit.
Yeah.
She didn't say shit, but she basically was like shit. And she
Yeah.
went to close the trunk and it wouldn't close. So I was like, was her arm hanging out? And it like bounced over her.
Yeah.
It never closed. And I didn't know if that was just a mistake and they just kept filming.
That's possible.
But yeah, so Theo comes to see her since we're talking about this scene.
Hmm.
Because he now gets it in his head that maybe he'll buy it back from her.
Right.
And this was after talking to his sister, who
Hmm.
told, and they had the discussion that Hope left town.
Right.
Um, and he says to her, Blythe has a price. I just have to find out what it is.
Hmm.
And she basically says she agrees, but she has stipulations. He has to pay her double what she paid, which would be 80
80 million.
million.
Mhm. Yep.
And he has 3 days, 72 hours to be exact, to get the money.
Hmm.
Was there a third stipulation?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I think it was so. It was just those two.
Oh, there
Um,
was a third one. You're right. It was he can't have. It has to be his money. I think that's what it was. It can't be other people's money or something like that.
really?
I think she said something like that. I could be wrong.
Because the money he was trying to get was from other people.
I know.
It
Yeah.
was almost like he was calling in favors and like debts that
Hmm.
people owed him, and like
Right.
he's like, "Yeah."
Or
At one
maybe
point he was like, "Do you know how many secretaries I threatened today?"
yeah, maybe she meant he can't steal it or something like that. I don't know.
Hmm. But I don't think he's gonna do it because for somebody that needs to raise that money, and he think at one point he got up to like 48 grand.
Hmm.
He was wasting time just laying by the pool with this woman that he met at the pool hall at the
Yeah,
gambling, whatever
Carter.
it is.
Hmm.
And before we found out who this woman was, I was like, this woman just sat at bars waiting for rich men to buy her dinner and drinks, and she sleeps with them. Like,
Right.
I should have known Blythe had something to do with this.
Of
And I
course.
think at some point in their action, I wondered if she was
Mhm.
working for her.
Mhm.
I don't know what she said. Something she said to him when they were sleeping together triggered me. And I was like, hmm. But we never, if they said her name, I didn't hear it. And I was like,
Carmen.
what's her name? Yeah.
Carmen.
But then
Yeah.
when Blythe got the phone call and they said it was she went Carmen. And I was like, oh, that's her name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
um, so Blythe basically hired her to get Theo to gamble away everything he owns,
His house,
his
essentially.
house. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know when enough's going to be enough. I think Aaron
Mhm.
even said that, and he said, "When is the plan over?" And she just said, "It's over when it's over," whatever that means.
Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, okay." I don't even think she knows the answer.
I guess until she feels satisfied, which is never going to happen. She's
Exactly,
like drunk on revenge.
correct.
Like all he did was break up with you. Like how much does this man have to hurt?
Yeah.
um. So yeah, so Lonnie's playing double agent. She's sneaking around, trying to report back to Taylor anything she
Mhm,
finds. She's not really finding anything too interesting.
mhm,
Um, they ended up having the beauty pageant at the Tides at the
mhm,
annex.
right.
Um, that was a funny scene because all of the models or contestants had questions. They were like, "Oh, is there like an area for my team, like my personal like PR team?" And he was like, I'll get back to you on that." And she was like, "Well, I was promised that in the contract."
Yeah, right.
And then he's like, "Please enjoy our buffet." And they all were like, and he's like, "Yes, there's plenty of low carb options." Jennifer and Edward are just doing what they do, sleeping together. I
Yeah,
really wanted them to get caught this time.
and they almost did, and it was so disappointing.
That was just pure luck because she was literally outside her office because she forgot the
Right.
directions.
Mhm.
I thought that was finally going to be it. I was like, please, like if it didn't happen in the house, which I call foul on a line. Jennifer was like, "Oh, is this where the magic happens?" And I'm like, this is where the magic happens because this is where you were sleeping with him when Emma was knocking on the door and you guys were pretending like you weren't there."
Right, right.
And she like went through her drawers and she like made fun of her nightgown,
Mhm. Yeah.
which she noticed was kind of thrown in there later on when she was in her drawer.
Mhm. She did.
But so she had lied and said she didn't feel good and that she was homesick, and she wasn't. She was with Josh. And
Right.
so obviously Edward knew that because he slept with Jennifer in the bed that afternoon.
Right, and that's
And he made a comment like, "Oh," he was like, "You're in bed all afternoon." He's like, "Maybe you should see a doctor." And she was like almost borderline laughing in bed, like thinking
mhm.
about Josh. She was just like,
Yeah,
maybe.
right.
But then on the flip side with that, with Josh, she's like, I'm engaged, right? She like plays hot and cold with Josh.
I know. And I also wanna mention Daniel set up that whole thing, or not Daniel, Aaron. He set up the whole meeting between them.
Yeah, because of Blythe.
Right.
Because now Blythe got it in her head that she wants Theo, to flip out about his two daughters sleeping with her sons.
Yeah. What did she say? Can you imagine Blythe, uh, Theodore Crawford's daughter's in bed with Blythe Hunter's sons?
um, so one of the times that Lonnie meets up with Taylor,
Mhm.
it's to tell him about the IPO,
Yes. Mhm.
and Aaron happens to be sitting at the bar and is kind of eavesdropping.
Mhm.
And I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
wanted him to kind of be friends with Lonnie. I didn't want him to like rat her out.
yeah, and he was talking to the dealer, about the plan for with Theo, what at that time.
Yeah. So he reports back to Blythe, And I'm
Mhm.
like, she's gonna grab her hair again. I know it's. And I was like, she better learn how to swat her away or something.
Mhm.
But she basically, the plan is to make her feel comfortable and act like nothing's wrong, like she doesn't know anything,
Mhm.
and take her revenge out on her.
Mhm.
Um, she says to her lawyer, something about taking her out, and he was like, "You want me to shoot her?" And she's like, "No," she's like, "It's a metaphor or whatever."
No, she's like, "I just don't want her around anymore." Whatever that means.
I like when she like makes comments like, "What do you think? I'm a monster?" Yeah,
Yeah, you are.
you crossed the line.
Mhm.
Like now, yeah, I think I texted you this. She has no redeeming qualities.
Mm-mm. No.
She has to die. Like that's how this has to end. Like, or prison. There's no, yeah. As sad as I am that Hope died,
Mhm.
people need to die for there to be like stakes and casual. Like there has to be casualties.
Mhm.
Otherwise, the story doesn't really have weight to it.
Mhm.
But R.I.P. Hope.
Yeah.
Still hoping that maybe she'll pop up somewhere and then she'll die.
Well, yeah. There's a possibility it is soap.
um, so I didn't know because I was watching it on my phone what Blythe did at first to Lonnie's car.
Mhm.
I thought maybe she like either slashed the tire or let the air out of the tire and like the tire
Mhm.
was gonna blow out.
Right.
I didn't know that she cut the brakes.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. Um, what else? What am I missing? Oh, Maddie tries to set up a meeting with Philippe.
Mhm.
She says things are crazy here. She's like, maybe I should come see you next week just to get out of here. And
Mhm.
Philippe is like, no, not good.
No.
Things are really crazy at work. And she's like, well, what about the week after? And he blows her off again.
Right.
So she takes this hard and she tries to call Hope, who obviously doesn't answer.
Yeah.
And she takes a pill, and I wasn't sure what it was, but
Yeah.
she takes it with wine and she passes out. And
Uh-huh.
Josh finds her and sees the pills and thinks that maybe there was a suicide attempt. So he's like questioning her, and she's like, I was taking a nap. He's like, I was not trying to kill myself.
It's really funny, like, he just let himself in, like, he didn't even, like, call or say he was coming, he just comes over to talk
I
about.
thought that was weird too, but he made a comment saying the door was open, so he thought something
Okay.
happened.
Yeah, that's right, he did say that, okay.
But I don't know why the door would have been open
Yeah,
if she was like sitting in her living
and then
room.
he's like, "Do you believe I love Emma?" And she's like, "Yeah, I believe you love Emma."
Maybe when he said the door was opened, he meant unlocked.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. Yeah, then he was like, "Do you believe I love Emma?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Okay, I just need to hear that." Okay.
Right, and
Do you
he's
want
like,
her to
"I
read
see
your
where."
card? Because she does that too.
Mm,
um, what else happened before we get to Lonnie?
um, we we talked about the whole Edward and Jennifer thing, what else?
Oh, so Carmen, her end goal is to get him to
Right,
basically bet his assets in
right,
order to gain the rest of the money to buy the tides back.
yeah.
So she keeps saying, "Oh, you're on a hot streak. Maybe you should play." Like, and she keeps hinting that they should go, so he should gamble.
Right, and then she, like, encourages him to set up a high stakes game
Yeah, like a private game.
using the tide, not the tides, the house as a collateral, like, "Do you have any," she's like, "Do you have any large assets?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know if if the cards were set up for him to lose.
Yeah, I was watching the game, and I don't really know much about Texas Hold'em, but I was wondering, like, how they set the whole thing up.
I don't know how to play poker at all, so I whatever they were saying was just like foreign to me because I'm like, yeah,
Right,
sure, whatever you say.
exactly. I played poker, like, maybe 20 years ago. I don't really remember it, but yeah. So, it was
I'm not a
like,
gambler. I don't have the heart for it. I do like the penny slots. That's all.
And I
Um,
do like the scene where she was on the phone with Blythe. You know what they say that the house always wins, and then Blythe says, "Well, somebody wins the house."
mhm. But she also kind of cons more money out of Blythe
Yes, because she had to sleep with Theo, which was not part of
multiple
the.
times.
Oh, and
And
she's
Blythe was like, and if I remember correctly, she's like, that's not exactly a burden.
right, exactly. And she looks familiar, and I looked her up. She was on General Hospital before in the early 2000s. The woman who plays Carmen, and I was like, okay, that's where I know her from. She played Sonny's mother in flashbacks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen those. Okay. She did look familiar, and I'm like, she's probably, I didn't look her up
Mhm.
though, which is
Yeah.
surprising because usually I look everybody up right away and then I can't pay attention.
Right.
But, um, so, and also the guy that he was playing against looked familiar. I feel like he's been in other soap operas.
Yeah, I felt the same way, but I have no idea who he was.
Um, so yeah, he ends up losing everything.
Yeah.
And I guess presumably almost having another panic attack or heart attack because the
Right.
dealer is like, get him some water and a phone just in case. Like, we
Also
gotta
funny.
call somebody.
Right.
So this Brooke's gonna have a meltdown when she finds out she doesn't have a house now. She
Oh
lost
god,
company,
yeah.
now she lost the house.
Oh my god.
Oh, so I didn't know what Brooke was up to
Oh
because she
really?
said to Jennifer, give me the files that list all former employees.
Right. And I thought
That's
that
what-
was weird because I thought not Brooke, Blythe destroyed all the records.
Mm,
But Jennifer did have all like old employment records, I guess.
yeah. And I didn't really think too far into this. But when Jennifer walks away from her desk, um, oh, there's a package delivered. So this is what a smart moment for Brooke because she
Mhm.
cuts the delivery guy off and says, "Could you just bring it to the stables?" And then the
Mhm.
stables call Jennifer and say, "Blythe's package was delivered here." And
Yeah.
she's like, "I'll come get it because she's gonna throw a fit if it's not here.
Mhm.
She's looking for it." So she leaves her desk. Brooke goes through her desk, finds the employment records. I have no idea what she's doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I was watching on my phone, so she finds like a license or an ID of a
Mhm.
man, and in my head, I put it together, biological father,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I'm assuming based on the dialogue and the way the story went, yes. So, um, so she knows his name now and what he looks like from the ID anyway, 23 years ago. This
Mhm.
is where I'm confused because even though we do have confirmation that both of them are this good man's daughters,
Mhm.
so their mother got pregnant, had Emma, and then got pregnant again, and then died.
Well, did you see that scene with Madeline? Madeline told Brooke that Theo thought that Brooke was going to be his child, but it turned out he was still dead mother was still sleeping with this guy.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't understand it properly then.
yeah, and Theo thought Brooke was going to be his, but it turned out she was still sleeping with Gavin, I think his name is.
Hmm.
Brooke and Emma's biological father. And so Brooke is also, not Theo's daughter, and he was really disappointed and upset that he wasn't going to have another child or a child, I guess.
Yeah. Um, she tells her that after their mother died, he disappeared and nobody's heard from him or
Yeah.
seen him.
Hmm.
And she says that she resembles him, but more in a more feminine way. She's like, "You have his
Right.
features."
And Emma has his eyes or something like
Yeah.
that.
Um, yeah, I think that was pretty much it for her.
Hmm.
So Lonnie, so now Blythe is fucking with Lonnie before the
Hmm.
pregnant situation.
Yes.
She walks in and she's like, "We work so well together because we've been working together so long."
Hmm.
She's
Yeah.
like, "You're just like one of the only people I truly trust." And she's like playing with a leather opener. And
Yeah.
Lonnie's like,
I was like, oh.
I was like, "Oh, she's gonna stab her." um, I was like, she had a taste for blood, so now she wants more.
Yeah.
But then Lonnie gets a phone call
Mhm.
and the person says, does the person say I'm your sister, or she just
No, it's a
says pretends?
but if you understand me, say hi, Violet. Yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah,
okay. So she says her sister's name, and Blythe's like, "What did I tell you about taking personal calls on company time?"
yeah.
So then she's basically is like, "Hold please," and she's like, "Is there something that I could do for you?"
Right.
And Blythe says that she needs something personally messengered to somebody.
Right.
So she says she'll do it. She takes the call. The person says that they have information that could help take Blythe down,
Yes. Mhm.
and to meet them in the stalls. Is that what she said?
I can't remember where she said to meet her, but yeah.
I don't know if that's what they're called. Where the horses are.
Right,
I
right,
think.
right. Stables,
Um,
stables. Maybe it's stables.
yeah, stables. I don't know why I was saying stalls. Stables. At like 5 o'clock. We'll just say 5 o'clock. I don't know if it was really 5.
Right, yeah.
Um, so she goes there, and the person is a no-show. They call her on the cell phone, and they're
Mhm.
like, were you followed? Like, it was too dangerous to meet you. We're gonna have to meet some other way.
Mhm.
Um, I want to know who this person is because they kind of showed their face. It was very quick. And I'm
Mhm.
like, did Blythe set this up? Or like I don't know what's gonna happen, which is why I need Lonnie to be okay because I need to know more about this other person. Plus I like Lonnie.
Yeah.
um so Lonnie eventually gets the papers from Jennifer and she goes to deliver them. And I was laughing because she actually had a map out. I was like, they didn't have like Tom Toms or anything, or
Right. MapQuest existed back then.
I was like, you didn't print out the MapQuest direction.
Right.
This whole scene was dangerous. She was not wearing her seatbelt.
No.
She was uh, she wasn't texting and driving, but she was like dialing and like on the phone while driving and with the
Mhm.
map. And
And then she goes into, like, a construction area.
uh
I don't know if that was intentional or not intentional, but
yeah, Blythe set up this construction, this road work,
yeah,
so that she would have to go on that curvy mountaintop.
yeah. If GPS existed, Blythe would have messed with her GPS at the time.
The whole time she was like trying to like step on the brake. I kept
Mhm.
thinking, isn't there an emergency brake in the center console that you could pull off?
Right?
That's all I kept thinking.
Mhm.
Or does that not work if your brakes are cut?
I don't think it would work.
Yeah. Anybody that knows about mechanics, let
Yeah.
us know.
Mhm.
Yeah, so her brakes are cut. I'm like,
Mhm.
all right, maybe she'll survive this. Maybe it'll just be a bump on the head. She ends up going over, not
Mhm.
really a cliff, but over the barricade, and the car flips. And I'm like, ooh, this doesn't look good.
Mhm.
And we see her, and she's kind of hanging out of the car, head bloodied. And I'm like, all right,
Mhm.
maybe she's just unconscious. I don't know. It looked bad though.
It looked bad.
Maybe I'm hoping it'll be like a Brooke situation, and next episode beginning she'll just be okay getting stitches or something. She called a lot of people before the accident happened, so maybe they'll just
Did,
find her at the
yeah.
hospital. She called her sister, Taylor.
Mhm.
Yeah, so cross my fingers, Lonnie's okay because I need to know what's going on.
Yeah. Obviously, I know, so I'm not saying.
Yeah,
I know
I was like,
something
damn it, I want to
terrible.
watch another one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying this. There are a few more deaths, but there are some people that come back. So
Oh,
I'm not gonna say who, but yeah.
huh. Well, now I'm really confused. Who comes back? Who left? I was actually laughing because since um Brooke and Cherry had that fight where she basically called her a follower, Cherry was not in this set of 5 episodes, and I was like, "Are we done with
Mhm.
Cherry? Is she still in the credits?" Because I always skip the credits.
She's never in the credits. She's
She's not.
no, she's supporting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I don't think, at least I think we see her less and less as the show goes on. So yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe Cherry was just their friendship was just over and now she's done.
I know she comes back at some point, but I think that's it. I'm not really sure, but I could be
Okay.
wrong.
All right. Did I figure out anything?
Mm, I mean, there was a lot going on. um, I think we got most of it. We got all the important stuff.
These random scenes of Josh with his doctor friend that apparently he used to date.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember there was a scene many, many episodes ago that
Mm-hmm.
Blythe came to see him at the hospital and she said, "Oh, looking beautiful as ever" to her. And she
Yeah,
was just like, she just couldn't be bothered with it. She was like, "Hello," and she like left.
walked away. Yeah. And one of the scenes I really enjoyed was when Blake was talking to the webcam about Lonnie, and she's like, "I suppose I should congratulate her on being cruel and deceiving, but she's being cruel and deceiving to me." And then
To
she
me.
throws her back against the wall.
um Yeah, I'm trying to remember because there was another scene where I felt like she was talking to me because I had that thought.
Hmm.
And I was it Lonnie related? I don't remember. And now
Yeah,
it's gone forever.
yeah,
But yeah, I was just like, I also like want these tapes to like come out and for other people to see them.
yeah.
Because I'm like, who are you recording this for? Is this like your personal journal? Like,
I think it's her journal. Yeah, I think so. It's definitely her journal.
I
And
like that she sometimes just gets on to make like one statement and then she just like
yeah,
presses the button and shuts it off.
right, she's just like,
Yeah, it's so violent.
right. I have a huge crush on Benjamin, Blythe's lawyer.
He's cute. We found out he has a kid that he doesn't know.
Yeah, he does. Oh, he had that scene with Brooke at the restaurant, and he sat down with her and they talked. And I guess she confided him about her dad. Or,
Yeah, because Aaron was supposed to have lunch. Well, he invited her to lunch,
right, and he
but
had to go out.
then he got the call. He was like setting up Emma and
Mhm,
Josh to meet, so he had to
mhm,
leave. And then he
mhm,
asked the
mhm,
lawyer to, because he ran into him to sit and have lunch with
mhm.
Brooke. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like him.
Hmm.
Him and Blake sometimes act like they're a couple, and I can't really gauge like if they've have a title on their relationship.
Yeah. I just thought of something. One of the things we did miss was that Brooke called Blythe and gave her, let her have it about the takeover, and then Blythe invited her to come back to work at the annex and design.
Yeah, she's like, "That's just business." She's like,
It's just
she's like, "You and I never talk business." She's like, "I like talking to you. We're
right,
friends."
exactly. She's like, it's nothing to do with you. It's fine.
Meanwhile, every time Brooke comes to see Blythe because she has nothing to do, she's like not available.
Right, exactly.
And Jennifer's like, "Oh, how lucky are you? You get paid to do nothing."
Yeah.
Blythe did have slight guilt. I think her conscience was kind of getting the better of her because she kept I
Yes,
think she
'cause
saw like
mhm,
shadows moving. And at one point I think she thought she saw a reflection of Hope.
yeah, she did.
That
She
lasted one episode. I feel like maybe her guilt is gone now. She doesn't
Yeah, I
care
think
anymore.
she's over it. I think it was just momentary.
um, yeah, I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah,
So Theo lost the house, so I can't wait to see what everybody's reaction is.
yeah,
I can't wait to officially find out that Philippe is Blythe and how
yeah.
Maddie's going to deal with that.
I can't wait for Edward and Jennifer to be exposed.
Core, yeah,
Yeah.
because I like Jennifer. I don't like Edward,
Oh, I
so
think
I
Edward's
really could care
horrible.
less if he dies.
Yeah.
But he, at least now anyway, doesn't seem to be in Blythe's rotation where he
Mhm.
would do anything that would get him killed or
Mhm.
fired.
Yeah.
Um, and neither does Jennifer. Jennifer's just kind of like doing her
Mhm.
own thing.
Yeah. She has her own
um,
agenda.
it was funny. Who did he check out? Brooke?
Yes, I think
Because
so.
she got jealous and she was like, I can accept that you sleep with Emma because she was with her before me, but she's like checking out another girl. That's disrespectful.
Right, yeah,
And he's like, I don't need a jealous girlfriend. I already have one.
exactly.
And she's like, Emma doesn't care about you. She's not jealous.
Right.
And
She's
that's how the
like,
whole like sex in her office thing happened.
yeah.
Stupid. But all right, if you don't have anything else to add, I guess we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another episode of Wicked Wicked Games. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. Until next time, have a great week.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.